It's not peaceful. It's heavy. You're sitting across from them at dinner, or maybe just scrolling on your phones in the same room, and suddenly you feel completely alone. The air feels thick. You look at them, this person you love more than anyone, and you wonder if they're even there with you anymore. They aren't yelling. They aren't fighting. They're just gone. And your brain starts spiraling. Fast. Did I say something wrong? Are they bored of me? Is this it? Is this what love feels like when the spark dies? Am I too much? Or am I not enough? Stop. Breathe. Here is the truth that changes everything. The distance isn't because they stopped loving you. The distance is because their nervous system is overwhelmed and they don't know how to stay close without losing themselves. You are not failing at love. You are not crazy for feeling this ache. Every couple who has ever loved deeply has stood exactly where you are standing right now. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to read the subtle, hidden signals that prove they are still invested, even when they seem checked out. You'll stop guessing. You'll start understanding. Let's get into it. Most couples believe that when a partner pulls away, it means the connection is broken. They think silence equals indifference. They think space equals rejection. So they chase. They ask, "What's wrong?" over and over. They try to fix it with words. But here is the deeper psychological truth. When safety leaves a relationship, the love doesn't disappear. It goes underground. For someone with an avoidant attachment style, intimacy can feel like a threat to their autonomy. Their nervous system reads closeness as engulfment. So, when things get real, their instinct isn't to leave you. It's to protect themselves.
What looks like stonewalling is usually someone who has been so emotionally flooded that silence is the only shield they have left. They aren't trying to hurt you. They are trying to regulate. And here is the part no one talks about. An avoidant partner who is secretly invested doesn't pull away to end things. They pull away to survive the intensity of caring so much. They are terrified that if they let all the way in, they'll lose who they are. So they dip a toe in, then retreat. This isn't incompatibility. This is the anxious avoidance cycle playing out between two people who both want the same thing: to be loved, but to be safe. Once you see this, you stop taking the distance personally. You start seeing the fear beneath the surface. And that shift? That is where healing begins. Point 1. The slow return after space. They don't disappear forever, they circle back. Most couples panic during the silence. The anxious partner sends 3 texts, then calls, then demands an answer. The avoidant partner feels pressured and withdraws further. It becomes a game of chase and escape. You assume that because they haven't replied in 6 hours, they're done. But here's what nobody explains. An avoidant person needs time to process emotion after the interaction, not during it. If they are secretly invested, they will return. Not immediately, not with a grand apology, but they will come back. Their nervous system needs to reset before they can reconnect. The return is the signal. The silence was just the recharge. Disconnecting version. You send a text. "Why are you ignoring me? Do you even care?" They feel attacked. They shut down for days. You spiral. Connecting version. You give them space. You focus on your own life. 2 days later, they send a meme. Or they ask, "How was your day?" It's small. It's quiet. But it's them reaching out. Your brain might say, "That's it? That's all I get?" But their brain is saying, I'm safe again. I can come back now.
And when you stop chasing the silence, the walls between you start to come down without either of you having to say a word. Point 2. Acts of service over words of affirmation. They show love with their hands, not their voice. Most people in relationships expect verbal reassurance. We want to hear, I love you. We want deep conversations about feelings. When an avoidant partner stays quiet, we assume they feel nothing. We mistake their silence for emptiness. But for many avoidants, words feel vulnerable. Actions feel safe. If they are invested, they will show up in practical, tangible ways. They fix the leaky faucet. They fill your gas tank. They handle the logistics so you don't have to. This isn't them avoiding intimacy. This is their language of care. They are saying, I see your burden, and I want to lift it, without having to expose their own soft underbelly. Disconnecting, you say, you never tell me you love me. They freeze. They feel inadequate. They withdraw because they can't find the right words. Connect, you notice. They cleaned the kitchen after you had a hard day. You say, thank you for doing that. It made me feel taken care of. Something in them relaxes. Their inner monologue shifts from, I'm failing, to, she sees me. I did good. That's when your partner stops feeling like a problem to manage and starts feeling like a person to come home to. Point 3. The vulnerability hangover. They open up, then immediately pull back. Most couples miss this sign entirely. You have a great night. They share a childhood memory. They admit they're scared about work. You feel closer than ever. Then, the next day, cold, distant, short answers. You think, what did I do? Did I scare them off by getting too close? Here is the part no one talks about. This is called a vulnerability hangover. For an avoidant, sharing deep emotion feels risky. After they open up, their nervous system spikes with anxiety. Did I say too much? Am I weak? Will she use this against me? So they pull back to regain their sense of control. If they weren't invested, they wouldn't have opened up in the first place. The pullback is proof that the moment mattered. Disconnecting version. You panic during the cold phase. You push for more connection. Why are you acting weird? They feel exposed and regret opening up. Connecting version. You recognize the hangover. You stay steady. You don't push. You let them come back at their own pace. Your presence says, you're safe, even when you're quiet. What's moving through them is relief. I didn't lose her. I can be real here. And when you hold space for their retreat, you teach their nervous system that vulnerability doesn't lead to abandonment. Point 4. They remember the small details. They listen when you think they aren't. Most people assume that if a partner seems distracted, they aren't listening. Avoidants often look detached during conversations. They might not make eye contact. They might be looking at their phone. You assume they don't care about your story. But avoidants are often hyper-observant. Because they keep their emotions guarded, they pay attention to details as a way to connect safely. If they are invested, they remember the name of your childhood dog. They remember how you take your coffee. They remember the date of your big presentation. This isn't accidental. This is their way of saying, you matter to me, without the pressure of a sentimental speech. Disconnecting version. You test them. Do you even listen to me?
They feel criticized. They shut down. Connecting version. They mention your mom's surgery follow-up date unprompted. You smile. I'm glad you remembered that. Her brain is quietly registering. He pays attention. He cares. It builds trust brick by brick. That's the shift that turns a relationship that feels like a negotiation into one that feels like a refuge. Point 5. They include you in their future, even quietly. They use we instead of I. Most couples look for grand proposals or public declarations. We wait for the big romantic gestures. When an avoidant partner is vague about plans, we assume they're keeping their options open. We think they're afraid of commitment. But look closer. An avoidant who is invested will start integrating you into their long-term logic. They might not say, I want to marry you, but they'll say, we should look at houses in this neighborhood next year. Or, I want to make sure my insurance covers you. This is huge. For someone who values independence, planning a future with another person is the ultimate act of trust. They are risking their autonomy for us. Disconnecting version. You demand a timeline. Where is this going? They feel trapped. They pull away to protect their freedom. Connecting version. You notice they booked a vacation for 6 months out. You acknowledge it. I'm really looking forward to that trip with you. You validate the commitment without demanding the label. Their inner thought, she's in this for the long haul. I can breathe. And when you honor their quiet commitments, you build a foundation of safety that allows love to grow roots. This isn't a checklist. It's an invitation to show up differently. When you stop interpreting their distance as rejection, you stop reacting out of fear. You start responding out of strength. You become the anchor, not the storm. And that changes everything about what's possible between you and the person you chose. You are becoming the kind of partner who offers safety, not just demand. And that is rare. That is powerful. Real intimacy doesn't start when you find the right person. It starts when you decide to become the safe harbor they can finally dock in. If this resonated with you, if you felt seen in these words, hit that like button. It helps this message reach others who are stuck in the silence. And subscribe if you want to keep building a love that lasts, because you deserve a connection that feels like home. Thanks for watching.